Let me, on behalf of the people and government of Kenya, welcome you to Kenya, and in a very special way, thank you for honoring my invitation for you to participate in this very important investment forum. Distinguished investors, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the home of human origins and, and the origin of wonder. Wherever you come from anywhere in the world, you do not visit Kenya. You simply come home. So welcome home, karibuni nyumbani. We have gathered here this morning for the 4th edition of the Kenya International Investment Conference 2026, a platform designed not only to unlock and drive Kenya's transformation, but also to advance the progress of our region and the broader African continent. We meet at a moment of great consequence, defined by profound disruptions and growing uncertainty, from shifting geopolitical alignments to economic volatility and latest developments in the Middle East. The global landscape is becoming ever more complex and unpredictable. As we navigate these evolving contexts, our collective responsibility is to ensure that our economies remain resilient, adaptable, and capable of withstanding global shocks. That is precisely what we have worked to achieve in Kenya over the past 3 years. At a time of global uncertainty, Kenya offers something increasingly rare: stability, predictability, openness, and world-class opportunities underpinned by both macro and microeconomic fundamentals. Despite global headwinds, foreign direct investment inflows in 2025 grew by over 15%, exceeding for the first time the US dollars $2 billion mark. Kenya was also recently upgraded by the Standard & Poor's from B- to B, a clear signal of strengthening macroeconomic fundamentals and growing investor confidence. Inflation has averaged 4.4% over an extended period, having come down from 9.6% 3 years ago. Our exchange rate has remained stable at 129 shillings to a dollar over the past 2 years. Meanwhile, our foreign exchange reserves stand at a historic high of US dollars 14.6 billion, representing nearly 7 months of import cover. At the same time, our capital markets continue to exhibit strong performance, with Nairobi Securities Exchange ranking among the best performing stock markets in Africa. In 2025, for example, it emerged as the second best on the continent, delivering a remarkable 52% return in dollar terms. This performance is now driving an ambitious expansion agenda, with the NSE targeting 40 new listings by 2029. Earlier this month, the landmark Kenya Pipeline Company initial public offering raised US dollars 823 million. Our focus remains firmly on strengthening the domestic environment, and we are deepening reforms and executing policies that enhance competitiveness, streamline processes, and create a more enabling and investor-friendly environment. These reforms include zero-rating VAT on exported services, tax reforms that allow corporates to offset verified tax claims against future liabilities, and the removal of the 30% domestic equity requirement for ICT companies, thereby unlocking significant new investments into Kenya's rapidly expanding digital economy. Through our one-stop investment center, investors now access seamless, world-class facilitation services. By the end of this year, 2026, this platform will be fully digitized, enabling permits and licenses to be secured entirely online, reducing costs and improving efficiency for our investors. Ladies and gentlemen, with a population of about 55 million, Kenya is far more than a domestic market. We are the natural gateway to East and Central Africa, and through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, a springboard into a $3.7 trillion continental market of 1.4 billion people. Regionally, Kenya anchors the East African Community Common Market of more than 330 million consumers and the COMESA market of 680 million consumers. And that is why you have the Secretary General of COMESA in this meeting. Just this week, we finalized negotiations with the government of China on a bilateral trade agreement that will open access to an additional market valued at about $19 trillion, further expanding opportunities for investors. Despite the clear and demonstrable progress registered, we remain committed to continuously improving, guided by the insights and concerns of investors, businesses, and all stakeholders, as was recorded by the CS for Trade. In direct response to investor feedback, Kenya is implementing a new package of cross-cutting policy actions designed to remove long-standing investment bottlenecks and significantly enhance the ease of doing business. We are strengthening tax administration by introducing VAT refund mechanisms for export-oriented firms and providing greater certainty in transfer pricing frameworks, thereby improving liquidity and predictability for our investors. I remember a very special case with my good sister who spoke from the flower industry here, when she did mention to me when we had an investment conference in London about the challenges they were facing, and that if we did realign with their request, they would enhance their investment in Kenya. And to their credit, when we did what they asked, when we did whatever they asked us to do, the CS Trade was in Naivasha to launch their expansion of almost 2 billion shillings. And so when my Minister for Trade says we are working with stakeholders, business, investors, as they make suggestions to us, we align with the requirements of the market. We're also improving energy competitiveness through ongoing tariff reforms and expanded power generation, ensuring more predictable and cost-effective electricity for energy-intensive industries. At the same time, we are streamlining industrial incentives by aligning our export processing zones and special economic zones into a more coherent, transparent, and investor-friendly framework. These reforms are being reinforced by broader regulatory improvements, including the fast-tracking of the Business Laws Amendment Bill 2026 and the introduction of the Invest Kenya Bill, which will reform our 2004 Investment Promotion and Facilitation Act to establish a unified, modern framework for investment facilitation, faster approvals, and enhanced aftercare services. We are also strengthening international investment frameworks by accelerating double taxation avoidance agreements, modernizing bilateral investment treaties, and providing greater tax certainty and cross-border investor confidence. Distinguished investors, I thank you for your continued and demonstrated confidence in our economy. That confidence is already delivering real outcomes. And listening to the panelists who are here this morning, I was almost tempted to say that I have nothing useful to add. I think they said more than I will ever make in my statement on the situation in our country. And for those of you who read social media, I would encourage you to listen to the panelists more. I mean, these are real practitioners. These are people who are at the place where the rubber meets the road. And that is their experience. That is not to say that we've arrived. It's not. And that's why we will continue improving. We will continue doing what we must do. Allow me to highlight just a few. Last year, during my visit to London, we secured a commitment with the Flamingo Group, as I said earlier. And just last month, we launched their US $14 million expansion project in Naivasha. From the same engagement in London, both Bupa Health and Lloyds of London have since established operations in Kenya. Early this year, Mars Wrigley expanded its sugar-free gum operation within Kenya with a US $33 million investment in Athi River, while Coca-Cola scaled up its bottling manufacturing facility in Kisumu with a US $45 million investment. At the same time, we have secured a US $150 million investment from UAE's Aquilastar in electric and hybrid vehicle manufacturing in Nakuru County. We have many more such examples, and it is for this reason that today we are unveiling more than US $2.5 billion in 20 investment deals across agriculture, manufacturing, ICT, business process outsourcing, healthcare, energy, and real estate. We're not just talking about numbers. We're talking about real investments. In the space of agriculture alone, there is going to be signed off deals of projects that are on ground. Some of them halfway through. Just in agriculture alone, $1 billion. In rice, in sugarcane, in manufacturing. And these are investments from across the globe, from USA to China, to India, to UAE, to Uganda, to Singapore. Yes, I said Singapore. And of course, to Kenya. We have a very interesting conversation in our country about Singapore. And one of the companies, Syntex from Singapore, is actually investing right here in Athi River to hire 2,000 Kenyans on apparels. So that is the extent, all the way to Australia and many other countries, demonstrating confidence in investing in Kenya. And that's why I tell the people of my great country we need to believe in ourselves because others believe in us. The majority of these investments are already at advanced stages of implementation, with several already breaking ground. Collectively, they will create over 63,000 quality jobs for Kenyans. To further support investment decisions, the government has developed an investment project catalog, a comprehensive deal book that brings together Kenya's most promising and investment-ready opportunities, and which will be showcased at this conference. I think for a while, people did not know where to invest. What are the opportunities? In which space are these opportunities? So we have decided to put together all the investment-ready opportunities available in Kenya, sector by sector, with a detailed analysis of what you need to do to unlock that investment. We will give you a whole book today on the investment-ready opportunities in Kenya. You do not have to go and look any further. There will be other opportunities that may not be in that book, but the ones in that book are the ones that have already been prepared. Some of them visibility is done, some of them progress has been made, and we're not only thinking about those opportunities, we will also tell you in which places will you find the space to be able to undertake whatever investment you want to make. We have 9 special economic zones that have been constructed by the government of Kenya. We have 47 county aggregation and industrial parks, again, as investment opportunities. As was said by my friend from Arise, we are developing the Rare Fipingo Special Economic Zone with their support. We are developing the Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone, again, the partnership between Arise, Kenya Commercial Bank, and others, and Afri-Exim Bank. And of course, we are developing our Naivasha facility, a total of 4,500 acres of what will be a special economic zone infrastructure that offers opportunity for investment spaces. Yet, there remains significant opportunity that calls for your partnership. As many of you will be aware, we have launched an ambitious national transformation agenda anchored on 3 critical pillars. First, we are investing heavily in infrastructure and connectivity by expanding roads, railways, airports, and seaports. Just last week, we did launch the extension of the standard gauge railway that will now find its way to Uganda and to DRC to improve on our logistics. You heard from the panelists here that business is looking for how to move things in a much more cost-effective manner. We know very well that we have invested significantly in the roads infrastructure, but we believe that what we have done is not sufficient. So we are increasing our investment in the roads sector. In the next 7 years, we want to double our paved road infrastructure in Kenya, including highways. Because we want to unlock the market, as we have said, in the East African community of 330 million people. We are extending the highway from Nairobi now into Nakuru, finally into Malaba, and connecting it to Uganda. We will shortly be advertising another highway from Mombasa to Nairobi. and another 2,800 kilometers of highway around Kenya. This is an investment that is going to cost us between $10 and $15 billion, and we are slowly but surely finding the innovative mechanism on how to deploy resources in that space. Secondly, over the next 5 years, between 5 and 10 years, we plan to build at least 50 mega dams to strengthen water security and significantly enhance agricultural productivity. If I mention to you the 4 investors that are investing in the agricultural sector, the $1 billion that we are going to sign up today, all those investors are going to invest in agriculture, but in irrigation. And so the construction of dams, storage of water, harvesting of water is going to play a significant part of our way forward. Luckily for the investors that will be signing off today, we already have developed infrastructure for them to use the water that we already have in the irrigation space that is there. But that will significantly increase our agricultural output, especially for export. And third, we are scaling up our energy capacity, tripling generation to at least 10,000 megawatts to power industrial growth and future demand. As was said here again by the panelists, the cost of energy is significant to making investment decisions and enhancing competitiveness. Just yesterday, I was in Siaya, where we want to generate at least 3,000 megawatts of energy using nuclear. And I was having a conversation with the community and leadership in that region, because our 10,000 megawatts will come from diverse sources, from nuclear, from solar, from hydro, from wind, and from geothermal. And we will be looking for partners, maybe in this forum, because our investment in that space is going to be another $10 billion. And we are already beginning to structure the mechanism for us to be able to have that investment undertaken. We estimate that delivering this transformation will require an investment of about Kenya shillings 5 trillion or $40 billion. Through the National Infrastructure Fund, we are mobilizing long-term capital and creating structured, bankable opportunities for private sector participants. And this is where you come in. We invite you to partner with us, to invest, to build, and to be part of Kenya's transformation in a truly win-win partnership. Finally, to all investors present here today, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your confidence. Thank you for your partnership. And thank you for choosing Kenya. I assure you that Kenya is ready and open for business. And I look forward to engaging with you, together with my team from the different actors, from mining to industry, to investment, to agriculture, and to all the other spaces. I was specifically touched by our friends from ADEC, an American firm, who has identified Kenya for what it is, that we have the best human capital you can find anywhere in the world. I say that with no doubt in my mind, and without fear of any contradiction, that we have the best human capital you can find anywhere in the world. the testimony of the panelists here, they kept on referring back to the Kenyan people. The Kenyan people. And that is what it is. And so, it's not by default that the Kenyan people is central to the development of our country and to the investment climate that we have as our country. It's because we have consistently invested as a nation in our human capital. 30% of our budget every year goes to education, training at all levels. We've just increased in the last 3 years our education budget by $1.5 billion in the last 3 years. We've hired 100,000 teachers more into our classrooms, expanded learning spaces by 23,000 classrooms, and developed a new funding model to make sure that our colleges and universities have adequate resources to sharpen our human capital. And from a policy point, I want to assure you that the jewel of our investment, the Kenyan human capital, will continue to receive the Kenya government's attention and resources for us to make sure that we don't lose that competitive edge that comes with investing in our human capital. I think it has also been said by investors here that stability is critical to investors making decisions. Stability in policy, stability in every other field. And we will continue to work with investors to make sure that we are predictable, that we continue to manage the space responsibly. And because of the discipline that we have introduced into the financial space, we can now confidently tell investors they can repatriate any of their profits anytime, in whatever manner they want, because we have the resources. I can tell you confidently, we have the dollars, we have the resources to make sure that none of you get stuck with whatever you want to do in our country. And we are doing this for the long term and for the long haul. So to all of you, again, let me say thank you very much for choosing Kenya, and we look forward to working with you. God bless you. Thank you. Sorry. Now it is that moment. Now it is that moment that I invite my good brother, our chief guest, the President of Mozambique, Daniel Chapo. Mr. President, please.